One of the most fulfilling assignments I've received initially terrified me and kind of started by accident during a challenging season with a lot of significant transition, meaning from a human perspective, it was not the time to pursue a calling. But one day I felt an urge to write a VBS curriculum with nearly non-existent experience, not knowing or even considering if anything would come of it. Once finished, I sensed another urge to send the content to the educational minister at a church we attended for a month, which was the amount of time we spent in that area, feeling a bit foolish for doing so and not really expecting the guy to do anything with the content. But fast forward to maybe a year later, and I received a phone call. That church wanted to use that curriculum, and they wanted me to speak at their parents' night at the end of the program. And so I packed my things and my daughter and drove 12 hours from Kearney, Missouri to New Braunfels, Texas for my first ever paid speaking gig. I was high key nervous, which led me to very much over prepare, which helped me feel more confident until the day of my presentation. The educational ministry pulled me aside to discuss my content. And in short, he wanted me to go a different direction. This was around 1 p.m., and I was scheduled to speak that day at 6 p.m., which felt rushed but manageable, until I sensed with deep, deep certainty that wasn't how the Lord wanted me to use those 5 hours. Instead, He wanted me to spend time with my daughter and connecting with Him through worship. This freaked me out, but choosing to trust Him to give me what I needed to do as He asked and trying desperately to remove my pride from the equation, I obeyed. And God came through in such a powerful way. After my keynote, parents lined up to talk with me and shared how much my presentation had impacted them, not because they experienced my insights or so-called brilliance, but because the Lord showed up, helped me get out of the way, and through me delivered the message the Holy Spirit knew those men and women most needed. I thought about that event as I processed my recent conversation with Grace Fox, recorded for this coming Tuesday's, actually tomorrow's podcast episode on gaining strength through the names of God, specifically on her discussion of Ruach Elohim, which means the Spirit of God, and how He brings order from our chaos and, according to John 14, reveals and conveys truth. He is all sufficient. I am not. But I've learned and am learning that He lends me His sufficiency when I lean hard on Him and do my best to follow as He leads. For me, that leading brought me where I am now, with over a dozen books in print, countless articles and devotions and podcast episodes, a path I hadn't even considered prior to that phone call from that small Texas church. Which leads to my question: what is Ruach Elohim calling you to this week? What makes it hard to obey? And will you choose to trust Him to meet you in your weaknesses and your fears with His sufficiency? And to quote Grace, will you trust Him enough to do it afraid?